Welcome back to Hidden Gems. Today I'll show you a dark comedy from 1984, titled Gremlins. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Randall Peltzer, an inventor of quirky and unreliable products, travels to Chinatown in New York City to market his inventions and buy a present for his son Billy. While traveling, a young Chinese boy there takes Randall to his grandfather's small shop to help sell them his products. Randall hopes to sell to the owner, Mr. Wing, but is ultimately rejected upon entering. Before exiting, Rand grows interested in a little furry creature he finds on his way out called a Mogwai. Unfortunately, Mr. Wing refuses to sell the Mogwai, even when Randall offers $200 for it. The elder man warns of the great responsibility required with the creature, but his teenage grandson, knowing that their family is desperate for money, sells the creature to Randall without his grandfather's knowledge. The boy told Randall 3 important rules for taking care of the creature but did not elaborate on why they were important. He warns Randall that he must not let the Mogwai near a bright light, especially sunlight, which can kill the Mogwai. He must not allow water to touch it, and, most importantly, he must never feed it after midnight. We then meet Billy, Randall's son, who is having trouble getting his car started on the cold December morning. He gives up after a while and talks to his family friend Mr. Futterman, who had lost his job and blames foreign production like that of Billy's car. Billy goes to his job at the bank on foot, his dog Barney in tow, and just barely makes it on time. While he is at work, he is visited by Mrs. Deagle, a bitter, mean-spirited old woman who owns much property in town, and her stranglehold on it exacerbates many of the people's financial distress. Mrs. Deagle tells Billy that his dog destroyed one of her lawn ornaments, but would rather have the dog put down than be paid for the damages. The dog, sensing that something is up, jumps out from under Billy's desk and frightens Mrs. Deagle. The bank manager, Mr. Corbin, yells at Billy for bringing his dog to work, but lets him keep his job. After work, Billy stops by the bar, where he sees one of his coworkers, Kate, whom he is interested in romantically, has a part-time side job at the bar. He returns home and talks to his mother, just before his father gets home from his trip to Chinatown. Randall comes home with a creature which he names Gizmo, and since a living creature can't wait until Christmas, he gives his son the present a few days early. After the flash from a camera frightens the creature, Randall remembers to tell his son the 3 rules, specifically not to shine a bright light on the Mogwai. The next day, Billy sees his friend Pete again, and they play with Gizmo, but Pete accidentally knocks over a glass of water and gets Gizmo wet. Gizmo goes into convulsions and 5 tiny furballs pop out of his back. The furballs grow, and a few minutes later, they develop into creatures just like Gizmo. He goes to tell his father about it, and his father immediately starts thinking about how he might make money selling them. Pete wants to take a creature home, but Billy thought it'd be best to take one to the local school and have their science teacher examine it first. Once there, he puts a single drop of water on the creature, and one new creature emerges. The teacher, fascinated, keeps it for examination, and Billy leaves. Billy discovers that the new creature's personalities are markedly different from Gizmo's. Gizmo is friendly and playful, but the new creatures are mean, nasty, and destructive. One of them has a white mohawk, which Billy names Stripe, who becomes the leader of the new pack. Stripe tries to bite Pete's hand when he goes to pet it. That evening, Billy finds his dog Barney hanging from some Christmas lights outside. He immediately suspects Mrs. Deagle, but there are no footprints anywhere outside. Randall tells Billy that he would take Barney with him when he goes to an upcoming inventors convention, where he hopes to peddle his wares some more. Later, Billy stops by the bar again, and sees Kate persuade a very drunk, dejected Mr. Futterman to walk home instead of driving. Billy walks Kate home, and on the way she tells him that she dislikes Christmas, but gets defensive when he asks why. Just as they arrive at Kate's place, Billy asks her out, and she accepts. That night, Billy is reading as the creatures are clamoring to be fed. He looks over at the clock, it's 11:35, so Billy goes and gets the creatures some fried chicken, which the creatures quickly devour, except Gizmo, who refuses. Meanwhile, at the school, the science teacher antagonizes the creature in his care by performing blood tests on it. After working well into the night, the teacher leaves around 2:20 a.m., leaving half a sandwich on the table, which the creature can reach from his cage, and eats it. The next day is Christmas Eve. Billy asks his mother to come upstairs and look to see that all of the creatures have disappeared, except Gizmo. They have been replaced by soccer ball-sized cocoons, which appear inert. His mother asks if he fed them after midnight, and Billy looks over at the clock, which still reads 11:35. He checks it and discovers that the wires were deliberately chewed up, so it really was after midnight when he fed them. Oh boy. In the afternoon, Randall calls home from the convention to tell his wife that it was out of his league. The inventors there are far more advanced than he was, so he was going to come home early, and would be in later that night. Meanwhile, Billy and Pete meet the science teacher at the school, where the creature there has undergone a similar transformation. The teacher refers to it as the pupil stage. Afterward, the bell rings and the teacher wishes his departing students a Merry Christmas and he would see them after winter break. Just around that time, the cocoons start to hatch. At the Peltzer house, a terrified Gizmo takes refuge inside a football helmet. The teacher calls Billy at the bank, telling him they've hatched, and Billy, who is just getting off work, runs to school. There he finds that the creature has killed the teacher and shoved his syringe, from the blood tests, into his butt. Immediately alarmed, he reaches for the phone, but a clawed hand rises up and bats him away. He follows the creature throughout the building and gets his first look at the now vaguely reptilian creature when it takes another swipe at him. It isn't much bigger than before, but is even more malicious, and has teeth and razor-sharp claws with which to cause havoc and escapes. Meanwhile, at the Peltzer house, the creatures have pulled Gizmo from his hiding place and are busy torturing him. Billy's mother hears sounds upstairs, and goes up with a knife to investigate. She finds nothing except the 5 hatched cocoons. Just then, Billy calls her from the school, warning her to leave the house immediately, but one of the creatures disconnects the phone line. Then she hears noises downstairs, goes to investigate, and sees the creatures making a mess of the place. Using household items, she tries to kill the creatures one at a time. One of them tries to eat out of the blender, as she switches it on, instantly killing it. She uses cooking spray to make another one retreat into the microwave, which she switches on, causing it to explode. She then stabs a third on the kitchen counter. Seconds later, a fourth one that was hiding in the Christmas tree attacks her. Billy, who had just run from the school, arrives home to grab a sword and kills the last creature, sending it headlong into the fireplace. Now a 5th creature, Stripe, escapes the house, leaving Billy in distress. Billy grabs Gizmo and tracks the creature to the YMCA, where it has just broken in. The creature takes another swipe at him, and Billy is just in time to see it jump into the pool, multiplying rapidly. Billy, now hopelessly outnumbered, retreats from the YMCA to seek refuge. Now minutes later, thousands of little gremlins emerge that plan to wreak havoc on the town. Billy returns home and takes his mother to see a doctor, for the wounds inflicted by the 4th gremlin. Then he goes to the police station and tries to get the cops to take action, or at least to warn people, but the cops think he's drunk. They refuse to do anything. The first calls come in about freak accidents and fires caused by the gremlins, and the cops finally go out to check on things, leaving Billy alone. The gremlins get busy and set out to destroy as much as they can. They injure a man who is putting mail in a mailbox, tampering with the electrical grid, causing sparks to fly and lights to go on and off all over town. They cause car wrecks by making all the lights at an intersection green. They kill Mrs. Deagle by tampering with her stair lift, making it go so fast it flings her out of her upstairs window. They get into the Futterman's snowplow and use it to demolish half of his house, and they disable the brakes on the police car, so when the cops come to the Futtermans, they wreck their car. Luckily, Pete manages to keep the gremlins at bay from his bedroom window. Billy soon gets in his unreliable car, and this time it starts without any problem. He goes to the bar to check on Kate, who is being held hostage by the gremlins. The gremlins have occupied the bar and are drinking beer, getting drunk, playing cards, and cheating and being caught, breakdancing, playing with the ceiling fans, and tearing stuff up as best as they can. Kate notices that they shrink away from her matches when she tries to light their cigarettes. Quick on the uptake, she picks up a camera and takes their picture, the flash each time making them cringe. She gets to the door but is confronted by another gremlin wearing sunglasses and holding a gun. Even this gremlin is forced to retreat when the glare of Billy's headlights illuminates the bar's front window. Kate leaves with Billy. Meanwhile, Randall is still on his way home. He stops at a gas station to call home again but can't get through as the line is out. He does manage to bring in a little money by selling one of his inventions, a smokeless ashtray, which actually billows smoke, to the attendant. This time, the car doesn't start, so they have to run for it. They go to the bank, only to find that it too has been vandalized by the gremlins. Kate says that now she has 2 reasons to dislike Christmas, and this time she tells Billy the first reason. When she was a little girl, her father disappeared without a trace on Christmas Eve. He was discovered dead several days later in their chimney, where he was dressed as Santa Claus. He had been hoping to surprise Kate but had slipped and broken his neck, and his body got stuck there. After telling this story, they notice that calm has returned to the town, and all the lights are on. Figuring they must all be someplace dark, they go to the local movie theater, where, sure enough, all the gremlins are inside watching Snow White and loving it. They go to the cellar and turn on the gas, and leaves some burning newspapers and towels, intending to destroy the building with the creatures inside it. Just as they're leaving, the gremlins detect their presence and go after them. Kate and Billy, who still have Gizmo, flee through the back door with the gremlins in hot pursuit, and they manage to barricade the door, trapping the gremlins inside. After a few minutes, the gas leak causes an explosion, and all the gremlins are killed. But unfortunately not all of them are. Kate spots the one survivor, Stripe, in the window of a Montgomery Ward's department store. He left the theater briefly to find food and saw the explosion happen. Determined not to let Stripe escape, Billy and Kate break into the store where Billy takes a bat and goes to look for Stripe, while Kate goes into the back rooms and starts looking for anything useful, such as lights. Stripe uses items he finds in the store to attack Billy, including a tennis ball launcher, a small crossbow, and later, a chainsaw. Kate, in the back room, finds a set of circuit breakers and starts turning stuff on randomly, including the background music system, some lights, and a water fountain. Billy is using the bat to defend himself from Stripe's chainsaw when the lights come on, distracting Stripe, who has to retreat. By this time, the first light of dawn is visible in the east and it's officially Christmas morning. Randall and the dog are finally getting back into town, but Barney barks at the broken window of the store and jumps out of the car and into the store. A cranky Randall parks the car and follows him. Gizmo has left Billy's backpack and is now roaming the store, and he and Barney meet once again as Gizmo has found a toy car that he drives around. They finally find Stripe, who has discovered the water fountain, and also Montgomery Ward's gun sale counter. Billy rushes into the garden area, with the fountain, only to find Stripe poised to reproduce again. Stripe shoots the gun, ultimately missing. But now it's Gizmo to the rescue as he drives his toy car up a leaning shovel, flying through the air and striking the window shades. One of the shades rolled up all the way to the top, letting in streaming sunlight directly onto Stripe, ultimately killing it. As Billy watches, Stripe melts in a puddle of gunk and falls into the water. Kate and Randall arrive in the room and see the mess. Stripe's decaying body jumps out of the fountain for one last scare, but he can't handle the sunlight and instantly collapses, allowing them to safely return home. In the evening, the Peltzers are watching the news about the destruction, where it's described as a series of unexplained accidents and fires. They are confronted by the owner of the Chinese junk shop, proven once again to be the only person who can be trusted to properly take care of and contain the Mogwai, who knew exactly where to go once he heard the news. The Chinese man can barely conceal his disgust for television and Western society in general, as demonstrated by that family's carelessness causing the destructive gremlin infestation. Mr. Wing returns Randall's $200 and takes Gizmo back with him, but before he goes, he tells Billy that one day, he might be ready to become the creature's caretaker. The movie ends with Randall's voice telling viewers that if they have any unexplained electrical or mechanical problems, they should be alert for gremlins. Well, that was Gremlins for you. We hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching and have a great day.